Oh, I'm sorry. Would you not want to live in a neighborhood where somebody had a cool poison flag hanging out their wall?
Or somebody dresses their dog up in costumes and has dog parades, matches their dog.
This is the hill you want to die on, Joe.
That's your new team, Joe. Welcome back, everyone, to S1E1, a show where each week we pick a different sitcom, watch just the first televised episode, and forgetting anything we might know about the future run of that show, rate it and decide if it's a show we want to greenlight or cancel. This week we're going to be talking about The Neighborhood. The Neighborhood went over 130 episodes with its 8th and final season airing on CBS. Today we're talking about episode 1, which was called Pilot, originally airing October 1st, 2018. So to get things started, I'm Jay Gags. With me as always, the boys, most of the boys, Joe, Ferg, and Gordo. What's going on, guys?
Yo.
Hey,
Stay woke, son.
So, The Neighborhood. Ferg, your pick?
Yes, sir.
Any reason you want to do this one?
I really like Smith from New Girl, and then I was looking at the cast, and it's just got like the who's who of like other shows, like Cedric the Entertainer, the girl from Two Broke Girls.
Yes, the Beth Bears from Two Broke Girls, Cedric the Entertainer, you have Max Greenfield, like we said, Tanisha Arnold, who you would know from Martin, and Everybody Hates Chris, both of those we've covered. So yeah, it's kind of funny. It's like in a lot of ways, if you guys remember like when TV Land had all their originals and they're like, let's just get a lot of people that were famous from other shows and put them together and make new shows and hope that works out.
I mean, it sort of did. This has been on for 8 seasons.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and then as far as viewership goes, have any of you guys watched any of this at all?
No, I've heard of it, and I wanted to watch it, but I just never got around to it.
I get a lot of reels from it on Instagram.
I don't really get that, but I have seen, like, my mom likes this show a lot. So I've seen, like, chunks of a bunch of episodes, but I don't know if I've ever seen a full, like, front to back episode up until today.
Jay, did you see the episode with your mom where there's a crossover with Bob Hart's Abishola? Because those two things crossing over seems like the most your mom half an hour of television of all time.
I did not know that was a crossover thing. I'm sure she loved it.
The only thing that'd be more your mom is if they also crossed over with Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, somehow at the same time. You got all three
yeah,
of
and
those
then
together.
the Waltons and everyone from Bonanza showed up. Yeah, all of it. It's like when all our favorite cartoons did those shows together, like the Hanna-Barbera ones.
Like the wacky races and shit.
Like when Scooby-Doo met Kiss.
Oh, you
So,
have to meet Ace Frehley?
Don't start.
Watch your tone.
I don't have to.
If you guys want to watch The Neighborhood, you guys can watch it on Paramount Plus. It's also available on Hulu, Pluto TV, which is free if you don't have any of those. So it's very easy to find this show. Like I said, right now, the 8th and final season is currently airing. Like as of us recording right now, I think like we're like a few episodes into the last season. So, and that's it. This is already announced as the final season.
I watched on Hulu.
And then IMDb 6.7, Rotten Tomatoes, only a fan score, 70% for audience.
That's weird. For a newer show to not have a critic score?
I thought so too. I would say the show, I mean, we're going to get into it. I would say an interesting, it's not the first show to take on like race, you know what I mean? But it's, I like that. I want to talk about it as we get into it, and I will be very careful how I talk about it at times. But honestly, I think like the perspective, it's like it kind of flips perspective in a way that's very interesting. And I am kind of excited to kind of go over some of that stuff. But yes, obviously the show The Neighborhood kind of based on this idea of, to generalize, we basically have just like a white family moving into a predominantly black neighborhood, and Cedric the Entertainer is like someone who's already been living there, and that's when the other family comes in and moves in next door, and then in sitcom style, hilarity ensues.
Very Jefferson's a Jace.
I was going to say, this is like kind of reverse All in the Family, right? Where like George and Wheezy move in next door in the all-white neighborhood. This is like the reverse of that.
But yeah, so to jump right into the episode, I guess, we start with the intro, and this is when we're seeing Dave and Gemma and their son Grover, and they're driving to their new house for the first time together. So, you know, we see them all driving, and Dave's telling his son, like, hey, we're almost there. Check out the new neighborhood. It's like, oh, it's like, yeah, that's cool. He's like, I'll tell Grammy how nice it is so she won't be worried anymore. It's like, oh, she's worried. And then he gets his on. She also wishes we weren't moving to a black neighborhood. He's like, oh, and he's like, I wouldn't call it a black neighborhood. He's like, really? And then he's just like, their son's just in the backseat looking out the window and just like counting all the black people as they drive by. Like, he's black, she's black.
I do love this though, because like it's perfect to have a kid, right? With there's no air of like anything of racism or anything, right? Like kids don't
it's just factual.
have that in them yet. So he's just being a complete kid talking about facts. Where like everyone here is black, and it's not like a bad thing to him. It's just a thing, right? It's so funny.
I just love oh, look at that palm tree. It's like, oh, next to that black guy.
Yeah.
That's when he's trying to change the subject. And that's when you cut to Calvin, which is Cedric the Entertainer's character, and you see him like in front of his house, and he's walking like from the front door over to his like smoker area. He's got like a smoker set up, and his son Malcolm's like sitting on the steps. Like, all right, son, time to set up for Yardicue Day. I don't know why, but I loved the term Yardicue.
Yeah, I did too.
I am the exact opposite.
Really? I don't know if this was something that like people do, or if the writers created the word, then kudos, because I was like, so clever.
Just call it a block party.
If it's a block party and everyone's there, sure. But I was thrown off. Do they not have a backyard? Because if I was like, hey guys, we're grilling burgers, I would never go into the front of my house. It's so weird to be like, let's just do this in the front yard.
Well, I think that's why is because they don't have a backyard, or the backyard's small.
No, well, I don't know if it's necessarily like a yard issue. The way I'm taking it in is because it is more like a block party where they're inviting the whole neighborhood. It would probably be like a space issue if it's like that open, depending on head count. So maybe that's why, unless they had like a huge yard.
Maybe he's trying to show off.
And it mitigates the mess if they're not all in your yard, because everyone's just kind of walking
too.
by, hanging around in the street.
I just think it's so they could constantly get the shot from one house to the other to show how close they are.
I mean, also, if you just go on the writing too, it's like, oh, they just happen to move in the day there's a block party, is like very much a sitcom trope.
Yeah, because I can't think of like a time, honestly, in my life I've ever seen anyone like grilling or smoking in the front yard right in front of the steps.
I wonder if there's like laws against that.
Only for a block party.
Well, yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we're facing here. While he's talking to his son as well, he's telling him that he needs some help, like moving the wood and stuff. And he's like, oh, I'm busy. Hold on. He's like, what's so important on your phone? He's like, you're not looking for a job. He was looking at like a video about evolution. I thought it was like weird. I don't know if that was just to show you like his interests outside of like what we're seeing, up front. Be like, oh, look, he's into like science. Because I just thought it was weird to shoehorn hey, I'm busy. I'm looking at a video about evolution right now.
I thought he said negotiation.
Oh, you thought wrong.
Yeah. You did think wrong.
Because he was talking about making his own way and all that other stuff.
Yeah, through survival and evolution.
Oh, not negotiation.
No, still not negotiation, no. So Calvin's telling his son, like, I need you to help me move this wood so we can get going with, the smoker. He's like, I hate stacking wood. Like, there's always spiders. He's like, yeah, that's why you're stacking the wood.
It's smart.
I know I've talked about this before. Jay, we all met up, the five of us rather. Nick's not here tonight, but had a big celebration for Jay's birthday. Went to a barbecue restaurant. I went back to that restaurant. I'm not saying the food is not good. It is good. Barbecue food, whatever. I just think I've come to a point in my life where I'm like, I don't like barbecue food.
I love barbecue food.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I love barbecue food.
It just doesn't do it for me. So it's like, do you want a big thing of brisket? Like, I'd rather have a burger. I know I'm going to be very minority here when it comes to the fans. And
I
us,
think
but
you
like,
are in general. Just
No.
because we've discussed this, because you're the same way with like steak. You'd rather a burger over a steak as well.
A burger counts as barbecue.
No, because it's not like, no, a burger is barbecuing. Barbecue restaurants don't serve burgers, though.
Yeah, you grilling, like,
I bet you anything I could have got a burger from that place.
No.
a lot of places do, but not a lot. Some do, but that's not really a debate. True barbecue is brisket, ribs, sausage links,
Pulled
things
pork,
like that,
yeah.
burnt heads, pulled pork, yeah. Like, that's the difference between we call everything a barbecue, but it's really a cookout. Like, a cookout is burgers and dogs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Joe's just looking for a rhubarb-barbecue.
Is there a vast difference between a smoker and a barbecue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a very specific thing. Like you like leave meat. The smoking, like you use certain kinds of wood to give it flavor.
Well, I mean, like if you're talking like the logistics between if you're talking like an old charcoal barbecue and a smoker, like in theory, not a huge difference as to like what the equipment is, but like the technique and everything behind it is different, and like how air is filtered and stuff a little bit. But no, they're metal drums and something that makes it hot. But the idea of smoking obviously is, the idea of keeping a much lower temperature for really long amounts of time, and just kind of like, usually you're smoking at like, it could be like, I don't want to talk out of my ass completely, but you might be at like 250 degrees for like 8 hours or something like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually with the smoker, it's like low, real low and slow.
I know too. Like we had to go down to Boston for something recently, like really early in the morning. It was like 8 a.m. or something, and we were on Route 1, and we drove by like the big barbecue place on Route 1, and like that smoker was cranking.
Yeah.
At 8 in the morning, because like they're probably opening at like 1 or 2 for lunch, and you have to like start that so long because it's
if you go to like most like true barbecue restaurants, like that's why they run out.
Yeah,
because it's not like you could just make another brisket. Like it took hours and hours and hours to make. So you go to a good barbecue place, and as the day goes by, they're just running out of shit, and that's just what it is. Like
right.
it's the end of the day, and what's left is what's left.
I did have nachos once at barbecue nachos at Jerry the King of Lawler's restaurant once in Memphis. I didn't love them because I don't love barbecue, but I was like, I'm in Jerry Lawler's house, and it was very fun for me for that half an hour.
I've not been in Memphis. Like right this week is right around the anniversary, like 6 years ago, when like me and Ferg and a few of our friends were in Nashville.
And Nick.
Oh yeah, well, Nick's not here, so I didn't think about it. Thinking about the people in front of my face. Yes, Nick was there as well. But yeah, we were in Nashville.
They were 2 out of 3 for barbecue places. It was that one that really sucked.
Back to the Johnsons in the car, and the son again is just counting all the black people, and he has to be told to stop. Dad's like, or what's his name? Dave is like, hey, just because there's more diversity here doesn't mean that we're not going to get along with everybody. Like inside of all these homes are people and families that are just like us. And this is when we find out that she works at the school. That's why they're moving to this area. Like she just got a job at the new school. That's why they like are moving there. And the son goes, I thought we were moving here because this is the only house that we can afford. It's like, wow, Grammy tells you everything, huh? It's like she's still here.
It's funny because children don't have filters, but neither do the elderly.
Neither the older people.
Yeah.
It's a circle of life. It really is.
And also kids have no idea of finances, so they have no idea like how insane it is to like have to buy a house. Like you just go where you can. That's just the rule of thumb,
When was this show made?
2018.
This is 8 years ago. Yeah, we're season 8. The final season just started like this month, so yeah, 8 years ago.
You know what's crazy? It's like you say 8 years ago, and then you say 2018, and it's like,
I know.
fuck, that doesn't feel like it's that long ago. But it is.
Because of those social media memories things, though, where it's like 8 years ago you were doing this, like and then like but because they show you other years too, like 2 years ago you were doing this, whatever. Then it's like 6 years you're going this. It's like the middle of COVID, and everyone's just sad in the house. Like, oh man, that like really makes like a weird delineation of time, is because we like can see where we were before, during, and after COVID.
So we go back to Calvin's house, and he's standing at his smoker when Malcolm walks up, and he drops all the like wood at his feet that he just went and picked up. And after he does it kind of deliberately. It felt like he just kind of like dropped it by his dad's foot to angrily. And then he turns his back to him, and he's doing something, and Calvin like just like kind of does like a little like neck tickle to emulate a spider, and Malcolm like freaks out.
I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about spiders. Not a fan.
Nope.
Have you always had that? Like I've never. The spiders don't bother me in like the slightest.
Yep. Hate spiders.
You know what it is? I never liked spiders, and then I moved on to really hating centipedes. So now spiders don't seem so bad because centipedes fucking move fast.
My problem with spiders and with any bugs in general now, like I don't mind bugs, but I'm super allergic to them. Like when I get bitten by a bug, it gets way bigger and takes way longer to heal. But when spiders bite me, I like ooze amber out. Like I'm gonna be like Dino DNA. Like I'll get these giant welts that like ooze
How
out
often
amber.
are you getting bit by bugs?
A lot in the summer. I again, we've talked about this before, but I'm a barefoot only person, especially in the summertime. So I'm walking around in the grass, I'm doing stuff. You get bit by bugs. It's always my ankle. I will always get bit on the ankle by some weird fucking spider, and I'll be like, it's fine. And then I'll be sitting and I'll look down, and like the beginning of the DNA scene from Jurassic Park is happening on my leg, and I have to like go to the doctor, and they're always like, just like put cortisone on it or whatever. So like my ankles are probably very strong because they've been getting steroids for like 10 years now. But because of that, I hate spiders because I know it's a terrible fucking healing process when I get bit. It's also gross.
You could also wear shoes.
I don't think I've ever been bit by a spider.
Me too.
Really? I mean, it happens. Spider bites are a little more like, I feel like it's more noticeable than like a mosquito bite in a way. Like they raise a little bit. And
Yeah, it's a different kind of bite. Yeah, they raise differently, and they like have a different type of like top to them. Like a mosquito bite is never gonna like have any opening unless you scratch it, whereas like a spider bite, the bite I feel like is so big that like you can tell there's like a hole there, you know?
No, I don't know because I've never been bit by a spider.
I've got some photos on my phone that I can send you that you will be disgusted by if you would like me to share them with you.
No, I don't.
Send them to Gordo.
I'll send you bird buttholes.
You already did that on Instagram.
you post those constantly. Why would that change anything?
Maybe I'll show my butthole. Post that.
Also, you're really losing an opportunity to start your separate Instagram for your birds called Bird Buttholes. I would love to see the kind of following you would get with that.
Please don't.
yeah. So moving right along, Malcolm's freaking out. He's like, that's not funny. He's like, you're extra annoying on Yarnicue Day. Calvin's like, I can't have a bad attitude on a day like today. Yarnicue Day is about bringing the community together and celebrating and like what makes this neighborhood special, which is, and he's basically saying like, his family's been in this neighborhood for generations. And like, it's like the culture that they've helped create and like cultivate like in the area. And then he says like, and hold on a minute, like, I'll be right back. He's like, watch the firebox while I go and season the meat. He's like, oh, I get to touch the smoker. And this is great. This is when you get like Cedric the Entertainer's like personality shining through. Like it's not Calvin and Cedric. And he's like, no, you don't get to touch the smoker. I said, watch the smoker. Don't touch the smoker. I'm the only one who touches the smoker. And like the cadence that he did it, like you could just, his personality, like again, just shined right through, I thought.
Gotta love Cedric. He's fucking just sitcom royalty at this point.
We've talked about it before too. Like we all watched the Steve Harvey show, and that show is so fucking funny. It was like such a specific time when we were teenagers that like anybody on that show forever is royalty, right? You're like, they're all just so fucking good on that. A TV show on a kids network that would constantly call women chicken heads is fucking bananas.
I find like the stage name of like Cedric the Entertainer, the fact that like he's credited as that on shows to be very interesting, like in today's day. Like that's something that like early in his career there was more of that, but like that is like a dead type of thing now. Like you don't really have anything like that I can think of other than like maybe like one name people. Yeah. But to go by that still and yeah, it's not like Cedric the Entertainer, whatever his last name is, like it's not that.
Yeah, it's not have the Entertainer in quotations between the first and last name because like
the last name like never pops up. Yeah.
Terry Hulk Hogan or whatever. Yeah, like
Oh, those are two different people.
I forgot. Two different people, two different penises.
Cedric Antonio Kyles, his full name.
Kyles?
When Calvin walks in the house, that's when a car pulls up and it's the new neighbors. The Johnsons are finally pulling up to their house. And they get out, and Malcolm's the only one out there. Dave runs right up. He's like, "Hey, we're your new neighbors, the Johnsons." And like at the time of all this happening, it's kind of a rush interaction because the son has to pee. So like, she's telling him, "Come on, we gotta get in." So it's like it's a kind of a quick hello, and you can tell like right off the bat, he's like kind of like the idea is like Dave's character. Like, yes, it's the white family moving in, but he's also a very corny, goofy white guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that needs to be said, for the sake of like his personality type. He's like, long drive, big soda. And he's like,
I thought he was John Mulvaney for a minute.
What?
For like this whole episode. Mulvaney? The guy with that shitty
John
show.
Mulaney?
Yes, that guy.
Or are you thinking of the trans woman who was on the Bud Light can?
I also love that we're on episode 250. What is this?
So it's right around 250. I'm not positive what number it is off the top of my head.
250 something episodes, and you don't even know who John Mulaney is, who we did a full episode of.
In all fairness, it was very forgettable.
Sure, but he's around a lot.
Not in Gordo's world.
No, not in my world.
In our world, yes.
I don't know. You looked like John Mulaney.
He does not.
Gordo, I can't tell right now if you're being racial or racist. Whoever you're being right now is wrong.
No, it's like they say on this show, white people can't be racist.
No, that's not what they said.
Oh,
Yeah.
whoops.
White people can be. We can't be racial.
So they run inside, and now Malcolm's kind of laughing because he knows his father, right? So he knows his dad is not going to be overly excited with a white family moving next door. And he's touching on this with like the idea of like, he loves the neighborhood that they've created. And he talks about like the culture and stuff and how the family's kind of built that up. We know his point of view. You know what I mean? It'll get touched on later. So like, I don't want to like, we just are joking now, the racist versus racial. This comes up later in the episode. And we'll kind of save that conversation for then. But yeah, again, this goes back to the different perspective that we're seeing race being handled in this television show. I feel like if on paper, you would think of the show as like the white character in the show being like the one that needs to adjust. But it's kind of the flip here where it's, you're seeing it the opposite perspective. Though it's the white family that's very like, they're like a goofy, like more, again, progressive, I guess is the word to use, family. And they're like, oh, like, we don't see color, you know, and Calvin, who's like, color does exist. Yes. And I see it. He'll talk about it later when he's talking to his son, and just like, and I guess I'll save that conversation, but like why he's more skeptical of them being in the neighborhood, and I'll save it. So anyways, after this scene, we get like the intro to the show, which is incredibly short. We just see a street sign with the name of the show and like a 5-second jingle of a theme song, which was certainly written for the show. So whoever got that payday, like,
this is one of the rare times though where I would love a 80s style sitcom song about the premise of the show.
What do you mean rare time? I want that all the time.
I think we've talked that some shows it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But this is a time that it certainly would work.
Yeah.
It could work on a show like this. I'm fine with it either way now. I think we're conditioned modern day, but yeah, this is a show where, because it has like a very like specific concept, you can kind of get away with it with like a song that could fit. From there, next scene, kind of the continuation of what we saw right before. Malcolm's heading into the house and his mom is in the living room again. We said mom's character's name's Tina, but Tashina Arnold, we talked about her before. We've covered multiple shows she's in. We want to talk about sitcom royalty. This is like her like third super successful long run show that she's done. Like, she's been in other shows on top of it, but this is like the third like 100+ episode show that she's been able to.
Yeah, she's like been in syndication since 1993.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's pretty wild. Like, we've seen her our whole lives.
Like, you think like between like Martin, Everybody Hates Chris, and this, you're talking almost like 500 episodes of TV.
Yeah.
Just within like those few shows. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Now, Cedric the Entertainer, he had his own sitcom too, right?
Trying to think of like another show where he might have been like the star, not the secondary or whatever. He's been.
I think he has a name. I think he has a named show.
Yeah, I thought he had a Cedric the Entertainer show.
He had the Soul Man.
Like the third Soul Man, but not the one that we can't find a copy of to watch.
Yeah. So that one went.
That was 5 seasons.
That was a run, but I think that's his only like major starring in a show.
Huh, wow.
Yeah, and Steve Harvey's show, he was a secondary, and that went, 122 episodes.
Wow, that's crazy. I thought he starred in a bunch.
I thought there was one called Cedric, but
Me
I guess
too.
we learned from doing this show, right? Like, we thought we knew everything about sitcoms, and there's just so fucking many sitcoms.
Your brain crosses because he's in so many.
Right.
Yeah.
You see him all the time.
And I could easily see him getting one of those 90s shows.
So when Malcolm walks into the living room, he's talking to his mom, and she's like, "Hey, I heard tires screech. Like, I hate when these gangbangers tear up the street." And he's like, "Oh, I saw them. I'm not really sure what gang they'd be part of." having just met the Johnson family. And she's like, oh, why? Who was it? He's like, oh, it's the new neighbors. Says their name's the Johnsons. When he's saying that, that's when Calvin happens to walk in and he goes, oh, Johnsons. All right, good to hear another successful black family moving into this nice house. Keep the neighborhood headed in the positive direction. And Malcolm's like, I'm very glad to hear you say that.
The kids, I think, are like
both of them.
Cedric's kids. Yeah, both of them are
Yeah.
like the fucking best thing about this episode. They're both so fucking funny.
Like, oh, we should go next door and invite them over to Yardicue Day. And again, Malcolm's like, I think that's a great idea. And then you kind of like cut to the, Calvin and Tina like at the door knocking. And when Dave opens the door, it's like, hey there. And you just see Calvin's face completely drop. We were looking for the Johnsons. Well, you found him, Dave Johnson. Nice to meet you. And you see Malcolm outside of like his window, like leaning out, like, move. I gotta get the handshake. He's trying to record it.
I love nothing more than the kid who still lives at home, like character. But this one's so much more fun because he's just such a shithead to his dad. He's not like downtrodden. Like they don't make him like, you're a loser who never did anything. Like they touch on that, but like he's the antagonist of the family and still lives there. I love that idea.
You know what popped me with him being out of the window thing, recording from like the neighbor's house, is it's not a typical multicam angle that you're used to when you see the fronts of the houses like that.
You usually don't see the side of a house, yeah.
So having the side of the house with the window like that, like was like, you're not like expecting to see it because it's you just don't see another show. So,
Right, this is new territory.
Yeah, it was like a surprise to see him like recording like that. So they keep talking, and now they're like awkwardly introducing themselves, not expecting the new family to be white. When they say like, "Oh, we're the Butlers," and he's like, "Oh, good," it is like he's like, "I just ordered some tea about a half hour ago." The audience like groaned as if that was a racist joke.
Right. I legit laughed at that. That's not
like he's being corny because his name's Butler, and like the audience took it like he was talking about it like they were servants. Like it's like that's not what he meant.
Yeah, it's not a race joke at all. Yeah, like butlers are English, except for Jeffrey, who I guess is English, right? Like, but like you think of a butler, you think of like Bruce Wayne. You don't think of it being a racist thing anyway.
Yeah, and obviously, like if you see Dave's character for like 10 seconds, you get the vibe like that's not where his brain's going. But yeah, it was funny just because I noted the audience groaning, and I'm like, that's not a racy joke. Like, so when they actually, hey, so we're your next door neighbors. It's like, oh, that's so cool. Like, it's nice to meet you. Calvin's like, I thought you said your name's Johnson. He's like, like Magic Johnson, Dwayne Johnson, all the other black Johnsons. It's like, yeah. And like Magic Johnson, I'm from Michigan, and Dwayne Johnson, I rock.
It's a great, like, you're the corniest dude in the world line. I love it.
It's so upbeat all the time. I love it.
Magic Johnson's a weird character because he was in our lives, our whole lives, and then one day he kind of just wasn't. You know what I mean? Like,
but not for the reason you thought that it wouldn't.
Oh God, Jesus Christ!
What?
I think you're at a point where someone like Magic Johnson. This happens with a lot of sports stars. When we were kids, he was like at the ending of his playing career. You know what I mean? Like we were very young. Like I don't have a lot of vivid memory of watching Magic Johnson play.
No, but he was like a name. But even at that point too, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was past his playing days, but like we knew who he was.
He transcended the sport and was like a known character outside.
Yeah, he was in an airplane.
He was an airplane.
He was.
He's also in a episode of Full House as a referee, I want to say.
What I mean is like someone like Magic Johnson in any sports star, I feel like there's very few cases of athletes that once their playing days run, like they can find some success after, but very few stay culturally relevant past.
What about OJ?
I was just going to say OJ. Like, you have to say OJ, right?
Shaq.
He found a way to make himself more culturally relevant.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but OJ
Naked Gun, obviously.
But honestly, before the other stuff, yeah, he was acting. And you do have the Shaqs of the world and Terry Bradshaws who kind of stay culturally
Charles
relevant.
Barkley.
Yeah, but like for the most part, unless you're actively on television, yeah, even like all your best players in any sport, like once you're not really actively being seen and doing things, like you're not as talked about anymore because like sports keep going.
Now you get a host job, like
Yeah.
Or you do a roast and you have no idea what a roast is and you become a little bitch boy.
Oh, get over it.
Fuck you, Tom Brady.
Joe just doesn't know greatness.
So not talking about Magic Johnson for an hour, but no, I think that's why you probably see like less of him modern day. Like he owns a bunch of stuff, you know what I mean? But like that's all behind the scenes business stuff, and
You see him occasionally.
yeah, they keep talking, and Dave happens to notice the smoker. He's like, "Oh, that's a pretty cool smoker." He was like, "Yeah, Calvin built it himself. We own a auto repair shop, so Calvin's really good with his tools." He's like, "Oh, that's so cool." He's like, "I love to barbecue," and he asked Calvin like, "Oh, what kind of wood do you use?" And I will say, I thought this is where like we were going to see the first glimpse of them bonding. It did not work that way. But he tells him, he's like, "Oh, like tells him I use a mixture of oak and pecan." He's like, "Oh yeah, I'd really love to try that someday." He goes, "I bet you would." Like he's just trying to like, make friends with the guy. Yeah, and he just jumps down his throat. Calvin's he's giving him no slack at this point. They say, "Hey, why don't you guys come by later? We're having a bunch of people over from the neighborhood. If you want to stop by." He's like, "Oh, I don't know if we can. Thank you." He's like, "The movers are on the way, so like it might not time out." All right, well, you could just come by for a bit. In this neighborhood, we believe in hospitality. And Calvin's like, "But we also believe in privacy. So, if you got to do something, then, you go ahead and do it." And they start heading over to their house. And Dave's saying like, "All right, well, we'll try to make it over for a plate."
You don't turn down free barbecue.
Never, unless you're Joe, you weirdo.
I'd still go over.
I wouldn't want to turn down free barbecue, but there is a whole element of there's a moving truck at the door.
You're
and gotta
right
get everything
there.
in your
Yeah,
house.
next door.
Yeah, but you're still you gotta like physically move items and stuff.
You don't move. That's why you hire movers.
I've never hired a mover before in my life.
You have to direct traffic, though. I've had to do it before. We moved out of state, I did it. So, like, obviously, you're moving. When we moved out of state, but again, I was like, this is our house. Put everything in the dining room. We'll deal with it later. The only thing I asked them to move to a specific place was, like, the bed frame, right? Like, so I didn't have to move that. So at that point, you're just like, here, move. Here's pizza, water, and money for tip or whatever. Like, you're good. Just, like, drop it all in one place.
What's pizza water?
Pizza water? It's a new product I've been working on. It's disgusting. It's really gross.
Would you like a pizza this water? Huh? Good.
No, it wasn't. So
I don't even know what that means.
No, but it sounds like a commercial that would have like a big guitar thing at the end of it from 1997. Like, do you want some of this pizza water? Wow, McWhirl. Like, it's
I don't know if you guys
much...
have noticed this often with Gordo's humor, but he always has to reassure and tell us that the joke was funny. Like, so like if we didn't laugh, like,
or that
up.
It was a joke to be.
Hey, that one was good. No, it was not. Like that's determined by laughter.
I still don't forgive him for when he edited laughter behind one of his jokes a few weeks ago.
He stole my laughter. Yeah.
To be fair, he's edited so many of my jokes out.
So we cut to Dave as he's like shutting the door and heading back inside. Once he gets into the living room, Gemma walks in and we find out she just got off the phone with the movers and they're not going to be here until tomorrow now. There was a big accident on the highway. It's like, oh, that's great. It's like, oh, I mean, I hope no one was hurt, but now we can go to the barbecue. He's like, what barbecue? It's like, the neighbors just invited us. Like, oh, that's nice, but like, where are we going to sleep tonight? Like, I've got the camper's gear I could set up here. And then she goes, ooh, but I guess that means you're going to have to pitch a tent for me. I can pitch a tent if you chop my wood. And they're like, oh, we got to work on our sexy talk.
I mean, you expect this guy not to have good sexy talk, though, right?
I think hers is just as bad.
Well, even that, the pitch a tent thing, I guess, but like, are they going to have to share a tent with their kid? Like this.
The kid complicates things, yeah.
Let the boy watch.
Hey, once our son falls asleep in the same tent we're in, I hope you get a big boner.
You better be quiet.
Why wouldn't they leave the same time as the movers? Wouldn't they have gotten stuck in that accident too?
The way I got this was more that they got movers to like move stuff across the country and they like flew in.
No, they come driving in.
That's a good question. So,
well, you can get a car or have your car moved too.
Two things. Number one, you always beat the movers to the location so that you can open everything up. Two, where did they move to?
They're in California from Michigan.
To where? California?
Yeah. So, but they may have driven too. Like they could have driven themselves and like, again, like if you're in a car versus an 18-wheeler or whatever, yeah.
We're just putting together what we know. Like we know he's from Michigan, but he may not actively live in Michigan before the move either. So
But I will say when we moved out of state from Boston to Maine, we left maybe 10 minutes after the movers, and they beat us here by like 30 minutes. I'm assuming by terrifyingly aggressive driving. We had somebody here to open the house up. We got there and they were like already loading stuff out. And I was like, I can't believe that. How did they beat us here? Like in a car or driving the fast lane on the highway the whole time.
Could you stop to pee every 2 minutes?
Did you guys pull over because you saw a farmer's market?
You got invited to a root barbecue.
My basket was packed up, so I wasn't able to stop. No, our cat at the time was having a panic attack in the car, so there was no stop for Joe having to pee, unfortunately. And also, again, I'd like to reiterate, I do not like rhubarb. Stop saying that. Not a fan of rhubarb.
So there's a knocking at the door, and they go to get it, and this is when we meet Marty, who's Calvin's other son. He's like, my parents told me you guys moved in, and I had to come see it for myself. Oh, hi, I'm Dave Johnson. This is Gemma. He's like, hi, Gemma. And he really overplays the hi, Gemma. Like, I gotta say, you know, you guys said the kids in general are probably your favorite. And it should be mentioned, these are like adult children, by the way. They're not like, Calvin's kids are adults. They're in their like 20s. I would say that Marty of the two sons was my favorite in this episode.
I have in my notes, Marty is the best, and best
Yeah,
is
Marty's like my favorite character in this show.
all uppercase.
Yes.
Yeah, he's so fucking funny. Yeah. And Marty, you'd immediately be like, we're friends, right? Like, this dude has, like, I feel like he has our sense of humor, right? Where, like, everything is a joke so that life isn't serious, which is, like, kind of our whole thing, right? We're like, you make fun of everything and everything is funny. And, like, because of that, you become somebody you can put into any situation because they can find a way into it not being awkward.
When he is, like, talking to them, it's like, oh, yeah, I heard you guys weren't from around. It's like, no, I come from Michigan. He's like, and he notices, like, the built-ins, and he's, like, so, like, oh, my God, look at these built-ins. And I was like, is he, like, a big architecture guy?
He's an engineer.
He's an engineer, but that's not part of it.
I mean, built-ins are nice, though. They don't do that in new houses.
No.
It's like, oh, I know, aren't they to die for? They might just be, insinuating that they can get killed.
He is so fucking funny in this. His delivery is so good. And it's crazy when you look him up. He's been, like, doing this show, obviously, since the beginning of the show. But his credit list is very small, where you're like, I hope this dude just keeps working because he's so funny.
Yeah.
So they ask him, because he does make a couple of those, like, side remarks. And it's like, I'm sorry, are you saying that it might be a problem that we live here? Like, no, not at all. Not for me. And that's when he says, like, I'm an engineer. So it's all the science says it's good for people to live in diverse communities. Like, oh, well, good. We couldn't agree more. He goes, yeah, too bad my dad hates science. And that's when there's the whole, like, Calvin, no, you just invited us to a barbecue. Like, no, my mom invited you to a barbecue.
He says they discussed it very loudly at home. That's so fucking funny.
And now there's that whole, like, should we not go then? It's like, no, now you have to go because my mom invited you. And if you don't go, then you've been disrespectful to her. So now they're kind of in this, like, you know, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
I wish he didn't tell them, so they were just painfully ignorant the whole time, like, trying to be friends with everyone and getting the cold shoulder. I get they told him for the jokes and stuff, but I think it would have been better just watching him try to act casual instead of trying too hard.
I kind of like the idea of him being like Johnson, like Dwayne The Rock Johnson to them, or Magic Johnson the other way around, you know, like him trying to, like, do that as an olive branch would have been, like, an interesting way to do it.
I think, like, you needed to do this only just, well, I guess to set up most of this conversation, because this is where we said it came up earlier, the racial versus racist, because he's saying if you guys don't come, you guys might come off as racist, not wanting to basically be at, like, this giant black function. They're like, what? No, like, we're not the ones who are, like, being racist at all. If anything, it's like, you know, like your dad's being racist. It's like, no, it's like he can be racial. He's like, black people can't be racist. They can be racial. And they do the whole shoal insist thing. Now, personally, I don't want to get too into these conversations because there's no way anyone's going to say anything that's not going to get someone in trouble.
Nobody could win in this conversation, yeah.
Take that as you will and how you feel about can black people be racist. Let us know how you feel. Message Gordo's Instagram at Birds Buttholes.
Bird's butthole.
Not even my Instagram, but okay.
But there probably is somebody already who has at Birds Buttholes, and I really want them to be bombarded with anti-Gordo hate.
I want to look.
Well, you know what? Go ahead and bombard that bird pervert with all your racial conversations.
You just said, I'm going to look. This is why your algorithm is all messed up. It's because you search things.
Yeah, you birdvert.
There is no results for Bird's butthole.
Birdvert!
Claim it. This is your time.
All right, I'm going. How do I do that? Add an Instagram account. Okay.
The Secret Shitter presents Bird's Butthole seems like the thing you've been going towards your entire life.
You were born for that.
Bird. Should I do it with plural?
No, you should do it with a Y, so they think you're like a pervert English guy looking for girls' buttholes, and then see who follows you, and then see how bummed out they are when you're just posting like peacock feathers, BYRDS. Yeah.
Out here looking at some birds' buttholes.
I'm supposed to get a butthole. I want a fucking fan.
Bird's butthole. It's available.
It's available. Like there was a question that at Bird's Butthole wasn't available. Guys, I got it.
What about boot hole with umlauts?
Bird's boot hole.
No, it's German. You're opening yourself up to other people to follow you. I guess it's good, right? Diversity.
I have been getting all the Scatman videos.
No, you've been searching all the Scatman videos.
So yeah, anyways, after this whole debate's going on about the racial racist thing, it's determined that they're going to go. Gemma is insisting that they go, in fact. She exits to go to a different room. We get to like the new scene, which is like flash forward a little later on, and now we're like the Yardicue's underway. And you see Calvin standing at the smoker when Malcolm heads over. When Malcolm heads over, Calvin does that thing where he like cracks the smoker open just to like smoke bomb him, so he chokes a little bit. He's like, after that little stunt you pulled earlier, you should be happy that it's just the smoke that's choking you right now.
I do love too. He's like, being friendly is weird. It's like the best like descriptor of his character. Like first episode, how do you feel about this person? Being friendly is weird. Okay, I know what your character is going to be for the rest of the show now.
Because Malcolm's like, why are you so mad that this guy's coming over? He's like, because I don't like him. He's like, it's Yardicue Day. Like, this is my house. He's like, why don't you like him? He's like, why? Because he's too familiar. He acts like he knows you when he doesn't, and I can't stand it. It's like, this sounds like he was being friendly. He's like, yeah, it's weird. He's like, and I'm pretty sure it's racist too. He's like, I don't know. He's like, he seemed cool to me. The first thing he did when he showed up was like walked up and shook my hand. And he goes like, son, look, you're only saying that because you don't know that there's two types of racists. There's the ones who hate black people, and then there's the ones who love black people. A white guy trying to shake your hand, stay woke, son. And this is where, like, I've talked earlier about, like, there's a different approach here when we're talking about, like, they're using racial tension, but it's a perspective that I don't think I've seen represented in, like a sitcom, where it's like, yes, we're seeing Dave, who, as we know from just seeing the episode, like, he is very genuine and, like, there's no ulterior motive. But, like, Calvin is very on the defense. And not just because, like, of, like, just, like, you're outward racist, but he's like, there's also people that, like, are disingenuously friendly to like, black people just for the show of it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, they also don't look at you as an equal, but it's more the opportunity to show how progressive and friendly they are by being like, look how many black friends I have. You know what I mean? And like, he's like, and to him, that's just as racist as someone who's like full of hate.
I think he's right though. Like, because if you're being friends with someone just because they are a person of color,
yeah,
like he's not wrong. Yeah.
You go online and you see people who like do for the homeless just so they can post it on Instagram almost. You know what I mean? It's like you're doing the right thing for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? So to like outwardly see like, look, I have black friends because I'm so progressive. Like that is like not the right reason to befriend someone, you know?
Correct.
Yeah, versus just being like nice to people in general and being friends with people. Yeah.
And I think Calvin's just skeptical of stuff like that. And also, it's just, you know, there is something with like, you know, to be honest, I think there's like a lot of stuff where I don't want to say like racial things, but I think all cultures, there is like a sense of like preserving, like people don't want to like lose what makes them to a degree. And then like he loves his neighborhood, right? And he's worried that the Johnsons move in this week. And then next thing you know, it's like, 10 other white families come in and all his friends and stuff start moving out and the neighborhood changes. And that inherently happens everywhere. And as all areas have kind of become more
very Archie Bunker, right?
And it's weird because like it's weird to say it in a way that's not going to sound inherently like bad intention, you know what I mean? And it's not necessarily about like hating the other race, but it's like the fear of like losing what you have, the familiar like community that you've come accustomed to.
Yeah, but I think that community is deeper than that, and I think it's just what you're used to.
Sure, but like, I mean, you look at like, I mean, I remember where like when I was younger, like the first area I lived in, where like my grandfather still lives, and like when I was a kid, it was like a very predominantly Italian neighborhood, and it's not now, and like that's fine, but you know, like there's so like, but like to someone like to people like that who lived there forever and used to, I look back to like when my parents were younger, they still live in like the North End area, which was also, I mean, now it's still like it like fronts as an Italian neighborhood, but it really isn't really anymore. Like
now it's just a rich neighborhood.
As far as their actual residents, but like the things they loved was like all cultures have their traditions and their things like that, and I do think that that's probably something where like when everyone around you celebrates the same things and has the same, like you can have big parties and like this. And I think that like as those things break up, like you probably lose a sense of that and like what made you feel like your community made you feel whatever. But yeah, it's it's such a tough thing to talk about and not say it in a weird way because I don't think I like I never grew up in an area like that. Like we joke like our town. To be completely honest, anyone listening, the town we all grew up in was like a very like white neighborhood. Like yeah. But like wasn't like
much less now though.
Yeah. But like when I think about it, like that's why I think about it less like black and white, but I think more like how I said like an Italian neighborhood or like if there was like a Greek area or an Irish area, like not white all encompassing. So like, when you look at stuff like that, like I never lived in a community like my parents did where like culturally we were all the same. Like yeah, it was a white area, but it wasn't like a all Italian area. So there wasn't going to be like things celebrating the stuff that my great grandparents all celebrated going on in my neighborhood,
Oh, Jason, you wanted the spaghetti?
Yeah, there were no spaghetti parties anywhere on this.
Anthony,
yeah.
Pasta night.
There was no yard sketty night.
Yes, exactly. Where we just throw cutlets.
As long as they're chicken and not fucking eggplant.
Ugh, you're missing it. I had some eggplant today, actually.
I'm sorry.
I had some eggplant parm the other day.
Gross.
I'm sorry for you as well. There's no Nick tonight, so there's no dividing line here. There's just the 2 against 2.
But yeah, anyways, to get back into the episode itself, like Cedric's doing the whole thing where he's talking about like the other kind of white people. It's like, hey, I have lots of black friends and I'm a good person. I find Rihanna very attractive. I don't know why finding Rihanna attractive goes into being fake about how you feel about black people.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like Rihanna's like objectively an attractive person.
Before she was a singer, she was a model. Like, you know what I mean? She's like, but whatever. It works for the point of the jokes that they want to tell later in the episode. It's that thing. So basically, you think this guy is racist because he's nice to you? It's like, think about it. Would you be nice to me if we just met? He's like, that is a good point.
To be fair, though, that's a good point for a curmudgeon to make.
Yeah. It's good that he's self-aware that he's that way. You know what I mean? That he's like, that he's that kind of guy. But like kind of going back to what I was trying to say earlier is like, besides, this is a black neighborhood, something built for us, by us, and you let one of the families like them move in, and next thing you know, it's going to be a bunch of dudes jogging around in their little shorts, walking their vegan labradoodles.
That's why Joe's neighbors hate him. He's out there barefoot running around.
I was going to say, it's like if Gordo and I had a baby. It's me in my tiny shorts and Gordo with his vegan labradoodle.
He's basically saying, I don't want to live in a world full of Joe and Gordo.
I mean, to be fair.
He's not wrong.
Howdy, neighbor. You see my new flag?
Oh, I'm sorry. Would you not want to live in a neighborhood where somebody had a cool poison flag hanging out their wall?
Or somebody dresses their dog up in costumes and has dog parades, matches their dog?
This is the hill you want to die on, Joe.
That's your new team, Joe.
Hey, did I tell you guys that I'm entering in a Halloween parade with the doodle?
It'll be Halloween.
She's going to be an alligator, and I'm going to be Florida Man. and we bought her like a stuffed, like severed arm to carry around. So I'm gonna be walking my alligator.
Look, I'm pro this,
I'm not.
but I shouldn't be.
See, we're same team.
It's weird that we're the same team because I've got such a Florida bias and you have such a Florida pro agenda.
I love Florida.
But you don't still want to move to Florida, right? Fur, you don't want to move there either anymore, right?
Yeah, I do.
You still want to move to Florida? I feel like it changed.
I love Florida.
Do you really, though?
Do you love Florida? Do you like Disney?
He likes Disney.
Because there's a big difference.
I love
I
Orlando.
feel like you don't want to move to, like, fucking Jacksonville or something.
He doesn't
you know
want to
what I mean?
move to where I lived.
I didn't say I was moving to Jacksonville. Then I'm going to move to gorgeous Kissimmee.
Which is right next to the theme parks.
Is the Disney City still there?
Epcot?
No, like it was Enchanted Village or whatever. Like there was like a Disney planned community.
Disney Springs.
Maybe that's what it's called. Yeah, that makes sense. So there's like a Disney planned community, which is like right near the park in Orlando.
Disney Springs is like their shopping center.
Enchanted Village, maybe it was called. There was like a Disney town.
That was supposed to be what Epcot was. It was supposed to be like a futuristic city.
No. I mean, like there was a thing in our lifetimes recently where there was like a town that was like a
Celebration, Florida.
Celebration, Florida. That's what it was. Thank you. Is that still a thing?
Yeah.
And that's like an HOA condo Disney sort of neighborhood, I think, in Orlando.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's where the cast members all live. I've driven by it with my dad. It's not what you think, this big community thing. It's like dirty apartment.
That makes more sense to Orlando, I guess, in scheme of things.
If we're talking about the same thing, I assume we are.
Yeah, but it's not Orlando. It's Celebration, Florida. Its own town.
Can you imagine being like a firefighter or like whatever, a cop, and having the badge? It's like, Celebration Police. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to close my door. I do not think that's a real thing.
So now we cut inside of the Johnsons' house again, and we're in the living room where Dave is setting up that big bang tent that he's going to have later on. His son's like, Dad, do we have to go to the barbecue? He's like, why? Did Mom say we don't have to go? No? Oh, then why don't you want to go? There's going to be a bunch of kids there. He's like, I don't know. What if no one wants to play with me? Like, oh, come on. He's kind of giving him the speech like, it's going both ways, right? He's like talking to the son, but he's kind of talking to himself too about like the idea of like, you know, there's going to be different people there, but like, you know, there's the opportunity to make friends and it, you know, you could have fun. As they're talking, Gemma like power walks into the room and straight towards the door with like a giant bottle of champagne in hand. It's like, all right, Johnsons, let's go make this jerk love us.
At this point, too, a lot of quick cuts between the two families.
Yeah.
Because now from there back to the Articue, and Tina walks over to Calvin at the smoker and is like, hey, any sign of the new neighbors? Nope. Like, well, isn't that something? I invite them into my home and laugh at his corny jokes, and he has the audacity to not, and then that's when they show up. Like, Tina, oh, hi, Dave. You know, everyone's kind of introducing themselves, you know, like kind of like finishing up the pleasantries, and they introduce their son to them. It's like, oh, this is our son, Grover. And I like when they do it, they cut to like the solo shot of like, because Calvin's with them, but like maybe a foot away because he's standing right in front of the smoker. So you get the solo shot of him like mouthing to himself like, Grover Johnson? Like the idea of like, he would have never expected that to be like a little white kid.
Super Grover! He flies in with a little helmet on.
You don't think he was named after Grover Cleveland?
No, I assume he was named after Grover the Monster.
Grover the Muppet. That's what I assumed.
Is he not awesome and lovable? There's like 30 Grover books in my house, and that's one of the things it ends with after he did Super Grover.
That he's awesome and lovable, or that he's Super Grover?
No, he starts at Super, but he ends, am I not both awesome and lovable?
But for some reason, Cedric the Entertainer just saying Grover, it made me laugh harder than any joke in the entire episode.
I feel like all the lulls come from him
Yeah.
at this moment to the rest of the episode. Like, they really start packing him laughs. And also, real quick, the kid, Grover, like, the best thing to write in this is the kid just runs up to the porch. He doesn't acknowledge the adults at all. He just runs up to where the kids are, which I thought was such a smart move to be like, that's so real to kids, right? Where, like, he doesn't have to, like, acknowledge he asked him Grover, like, well, they call me Grover because, like, that would have been so much, like, padding to the episode. He's a kid. He just runs to the kids. He doesn't have any part of this, which is really cool.
So this is when Gemma shows like the champagne. They're like, hey, you know, we bought this to celebrate the first night in the house, but we thought it'd be fun to share with our new neighbors. Oh, how thoughtful. Calvin's like, well, I'm more of a beer man. And Dave's trying to like, he's trying so hard to like bond with this dude. He's like, yeah, I'm more of a beer man too. I just love a good IPA. How about you? He's like, dude, I just like beer.
I did laugh in my notes. I was like, this is like Jay and I talking.
Right?
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, we could go into this forever. I do think you don't have to love IPAs specifically. I happen to like IPAs, but there are all different styles of beers. I would just implore people who do drink, if you try other styles of beers, there might be other things that you like. Beer is such an all-encompassing.
Yeah, like a delicious stout.
If you stop looking at beer, if I may have a moment, we all grew up in a world where due to prohibition, eliminating the amount of breweries that existed in the country, the only ones that survived were the like big mega companies. So we grew up where after that happened, the only ones that survived were like the Anheuser-Busch's, the Millers, the Coors. Those like the biggest companies in the country, so they were able to survive prohibition. So because they all made that same like regular like style beer, like the simple like lagers and whatever, and Pilsner style beer that like in the lights, that's what we grew up knowing to be the only flavor of beer. Whereas around the world, all these different styles of beer were being made. So beer meant one specific flavor to us growing up, where that's just not what beer is. So if you think beer is more of like a category than a specific taste, like think of it as juice. That's like saying I like juice, and like, yeah, but do you like pineapple juice and do you like apple juice? Do you like orange juice? So I think like when it comes to beer, like people act like it's this new thing, but this is a thing that's been going on for a long time, and I just need to get that off my chest. So anyways, the girls go to head in the house, like, oh, let's pop this baby open. And like Tina makes like a comment so everyone around her hears, by the way, like, and show all these freeloaders how to bring a gift.
I love that the wives get along instantly.
It is funny because like you think that, like these guys have a party every year and invite all these people and no one ever brings. I feel so uncomfortable not having stuff in hand when I go to people's houses. Like it.
Yeah, you have to have something.
Yeah, it always makes me feel weird. Like even like Joe, the times you've had us over, like even if like there's nothing like normal, like I'll at least bring like an extra 12-pack or something to like communal, like just something, because like it's just like it won't sit on me right if I don't have like something in hand to offer.
We went to a family party maybe like a month ago, and like same thing, right? Where it was like I have to either bring like flowers or pastry.
Yeah,
and I can't eat any pastry, so I got a box of pastry, but everybody got a box of pastry. So when we left, they were like, you should take this back home with you. And I was like, I can't eat any of it. What am I doing? So I like traveled another 100 miles back home with pastry. Or I like told my wife, I was like, eat as much of this as you want, I guess. Like, but like you have to show up with something. You can't just be like, I'm cool, right? You want me here? Just me? You have to have something in hand.
Better than when you used to just show up with your ukulele and your gift was song for everyone.
Who wants to hear a song?
You know, you told me in private you love those songs I wrote for you, and I'm a little mad right now for you to have this attitude.
Well, I didn't know I could have got delicious pastries.
Did you bring a box of cannolis?
The song was about a cannoli, so I assumed that worked for you.
So now, because the girls are inside, it leaves the two guys standing there together. Calvin does not want Dave hanging out with them, so he's like, aren't you going to go in there and have some champagne? He's like, no, like I said, I'm more of a beer man too. Just waiting for Calvin to like extend the hand and be like, hey, I got some beers in the cooler or whatever, you know what I mean? But he never offers him anything. And it gets quiet for a minute. And then to break the silence, Dave goes, so let's take a look at your meat. And Calvin just like gives him like the like stare from death. It's like, I'm going to head inside.
That was my biggest laugh of the episode. Any type of dick joke, funny.
I think, well, sure. I think also Cedric the Entertainer is very good with like just like facial acting, you know what I mean? Like just emoting. As soon as he says it, like there's that point where Dave's like, I fucked up. Shouldn't have said that.
Yep.
But also like Cedric should have offered him one beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It gets very awkward. And he's trying so hard to just be like, yeah, I'm more of a beer man too.
Look, we've all been in that scenario, right? Like your significant other has a friend and their friend is there, or their significant other is there, or whatever, and you don't like them, and you're like, do you want a beer? Like, you still offer, do you want coffee? Do you want whatever? Like, you still offer the person at your party something, you know?
Oh, cool. Which of your wife's friends do you hate?
Yeah.
It's actually none of them. It's been significant others almost exclusively. Like, hey, I'm dating this guy. He does MMA. Like, cool. I bet I fucking hate this guy. Guess what? I fucking hate this guy. Yeah.
Meanwhile, this guy just wants to watch the fights, and Joe's walking over barefoot with his ukulele.
Yeah, but I like MMA. I can at least talk about that. Oh, this guy's really nice. Don't worry. He just pretends to kill himself all the time to drive his girlfriend insane. Like, cool. I want to talk to that guy. I want to have a conversation with him. This is what insanity happens with regular people and their fucking spouses now. It's fucking bananas. This is not made up. This is all real. What's that guy's problem?
They mean to open up a wound.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of conversations I did not want to have.
So, question though, significant other's friends. So that would be all of us, right?
No, we're his friends, not his significant
No. I mean,
others.
on the inverse question, I'm reversing the question that we're the friends.
Everybody loves me.
Yeah, I would say that my wife does not consider you guys a third party that way. You've all known her as long as we've been together.
I was making a joke.
Yeah, but you're not good at them.
Yeah, I don't know what you're doing. I'm so confused. I don't know what to do. I'm like, are you being...
I was making a self-deprecating joke about us being hateable.
Stop lumping us in. We're awesome. You suck. So now we cut a little later on. It's still at the Articue. And Dave's just kind of walking around. And we see Malcolm sitting like at a table playing chess with his friend Trey. He's like, oh, you guys playing chess? Who's winning? And Trey's like, oh, Malcolm always beats me, but today I got him. And then as soon as that happens, it's like, checkmate. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. And he's like, that's my fault. I distracted you. Like, as if being distracted would have changed the fact that he had 0 moves before he got the checkmate. But like, yeah, you heard him. He distracted me. He owes you $5, not me. And then he walks off. This kind of gives Dave the opportunity to like formally introduce himself to Malcolm, who like he's met earlier, but now they have some one-on-one time. And they're talking for a little bit. And he's like, oh, so do you and your brother both live here? He's like, no, I do. He's like, when Marty got a job, he moved to a different neighborhood. Like, oh, why? And I thought it was going to be something about wanting to move somewhere more progressive or something like that. Like I thought it was going to be like kind of like a flip to it and why his dad looks at things a certain way. But it was no, he's just, oh, my dad said, you got a job? Now get out.
I find this weird now too, like as a parent, where like I could never imagine saying that. You know what I mean? Like my parents didn't say that to me. And like I don't think any of us had that same situation either. Like none of us turned 18. They were like, leave. Like you could have stayed or did say like as long as you wanted.
No, I'll say I know ours like within our group, like what I've seen, but like I think we've had friends who were in those situations too, where it was like as soon as they turned a certain age, like it was basically like if you don't move out, we expect like X amount of rent from you, which was like it's fair to ask your kids for rent, but like for when we were at young ages, like they were very young and paying like what I would even now as an adult consider to be like more rent than I think you should ask like a kid for.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Like everyone's like, I guess parental styles, I guess it's maybe however you were raised kind of transfers over to how you raise your kids, whatever. But yeah, I've seen it. It basically what I'm just saying is like, although what we're seeing Calvin doing to his kids is different from our situations personally, not uncommon from things I've seen. You know what I mean? It definitely, there's plenty of that out there.
I think I could see it from both point of views. It's like if you're getting a job and stuff, or if you have a job but not enough to make ends meet, like you can stay home. But if you're just living at home, not looking for a job, not trying to do anything, it's like you're not gonna skate through life because when I'm not around anymore, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think that's when it becomes like a parental issue. But it sounds here like in this sense, like Marty was like pretty good about like he's an engineer, right? Like so he's working, he's doing well for himself, all this. But I could see like a point where you're maybe not like right at 18 or right when they get a job, but maybe if you have like a fear, like if I would say more for like someone like Calvin's character, like Malcolm would be the one that he'd be pushing out the door because he doesn't have a job and he's just kind of working.
Yeah.
He's not like making any money. So he like there could be that nerve, like you're not forcing yourself to be better at this point. It'd be like almost the reverse, the one that you're trying to push out of the house because like you need him to like learn how to fly.
It's different too though. Like even 8 years ago feels like a different world, right? Where like if I think of like apartments we all had when we were younger, right, with like a bunch of roommates and we had like a floor of a house, and it wasn't that expensive in the scheme of things, and we had the rent split up between people or whatever, like that's not really a thing anymore because those become condos now. So like I always wonder if you're like 20 years old and you want to like move out on your own, could you even afford it now? Like I don't even think that's a possibility the way it was when we were kids.
It's tough. Like what, like just an apartment like rent cost? It's I don't know how, unless you're like when I first, I mean, we've all been situated, we had like roommates and stuff. Like unless you're doing that, like there's no chance like a younger kid could live on their own. I don't know how you could afford it if you're not unless you're being like severely helped
and like survive and eat. Yeah, like I was so broke a lot of times, but like you always found some little money from your like retail job to like pay your rent and like get pizza whenever, you know, like it was. I don't think that's a thing anymore, which is kind of crazy.
No, when I first went, like there were a lot of McChickens being consumed. You know, they were like $1 and it's, you know,
now dollar menu doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, so even that's not an option anymore. As they continue to talk, now we're getting Malcolm showing Dave like, so this house here, that's where so and so lives. This is where so and so lives, and he's kind of going over everything. He's like, and that one over there is where Victor lives. He's like, oh, what's Victor like? He's cool, man. You know, for a crackhead. He's like, that's crazy. We live across the street from a crackhead. He's like, hey, man, you can't be calling crackhead Victor crackhead. He's like, you just did. He's like, yeah, but I know him like that. You don't know him. And he's talking about like, he used to be the coolest guy on the block. He's like, we used to ride our bikes up and down the street. Oh, you guys were friends? He's like, what happened? He's like, dude started smoking crack.
Fucking great line.
And like, I was sucked into it. I wanted to know what made this guy turn to a life of smoking crack.
Yeah.
What's weird too is, you know,
we gotta get the Crackhead Victor spinoff.
There are 2 spinoffs in the works right now, and one of them is not Victor's, but I would love a third one that is Crackhead Victor spinoff. But like even the world of drugs, right? Like if I wanted to right now, I feel like I could call somebody and get pretty much any drug in the world. Luckily, I don't do drugs, but I don't know if I could get crack at this point. Feels like that's maybe gone by the wayside a little bit.
You don't hear about it as much anymore.
Like in the late 80s,
but it's still very much around.
Huge epidemic. Yeah. It's still around, yeah. But like now, if you were like, I want like something that strong, you'd find somebody who had like oxys or some shit, right? Like it's a weird thing where like that was the thing as kids. It was always like crack, 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 crack. And now as adults, you're like less of a thing. I think it takes more science to make crack, which is like I think the pills became easier because you don't have to like make the drug, you know.
This is a whole different conversation, but like with oxys and stuff, that's actually when oxys became a thing. That's what increased people doing a lot of heroin again. Because
that's the heroin thing, yeah.
And then people were like, "Hey, instead of this $80 pill, I can buy a bag of heroin for $5." So and feel basically the same.
There are a lot of people who were in our yearbooks as high school people who are not here anymore because of
that
oxy to heroin. Yeah, it's
yeah
terrifying, but it's a fucking real deal thing.
He's telling the story, and Dave's like, I used to think guys like him were the problem, but now with everything going on and the opioid epidemic and everything, I'm starting to think that like addicts are the real victims. Calvin walks over and goes, "Who are the victims?" He's like, "The addicts, like our neighbor, like Victor," because he was about to call him crackhead Victor. Calvin saying to Malcolm, like, "You see, this is what I'm talking about. This guy likes black people so much that he thinks he likes Victor." He's like, "We'll see how much you like him once he steals all the airbags out of your car." Is that something that's stolen out of cars? Airbags?
No, I just think that's the level of
funny,
crackhead.
But I was wondering if that was a thing or not.
That is a real thing, which is terrifying. Don't buy a used car.
And then we flash forward, and we see Dave and Gemma are both like inside of Calvin's house now with like the kids. Dave saying to Gemma, like, "Hey, everyone's almost gone. Like, maybe we should go." It's like, "No way, Tina and I are having fun." He's like, "But I don't think like Calvin wants us here." He's like, "I keep trying to like connect with him, but it's like nothing's working." And she's like, you're trying too hard. You're coming off thirsty. Tina taught me that.
This does feel like you get a blueprint of that relationship going forward, right? Where like
the girls bonded instantly.
But we'll have like those things where like they were taught, and like you'll get that Tina has things that she got taught, right? Like you'll see that.
But also like we know too, like moving forward in this show, even if these two guys don't bond anytime soon, they're going to be around each other, not just because they're neighbors, because now the two wives are friends. So it's gonna cause for more, come over for dinner or let's all go here next week. Like it opens that up.
And he has a decent relationship with the sons who are pretty personable.
Yeah. I feel like he's more friends with the son by the end of this than...
Oh, yeah, for sure. By the end of this, you're like, The two conversations that end this are the son and him being friends. Not
It makes sense they're closer in age.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the whole show is not built on that, though. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
just going by like what we see marketing wise and stuff. It's always like the two couples, even though one couple is like younger. They're all hanging out together. Why did you guys move to this area anyways? It's like, oh, well, Gemma got a job as the principal of the school, the progressive school nearby. What's a progressive school? And it's like, oh, it means they don't teach the kids anything. It's like, that's not true. We believe children learn better when they're motivated by a feeling of personal satisfaction instead of grades.
Hippie bullshit.
I was gonna say, knowing kids, I can see how people can believe that, but now as I'm getting older and I'm like watching like my niece get older, like, no, there needs to be more structure in schools. You can't.
Yeah, you got to prepare them for the real world.
Some people are natural with stuff like that. You know, some just have a thirst for knowledge or structure and like that kind of stuff, but not every kid's just going to be motivated by like a satisfaction of like, you know, doing well. So they're talking, they're making jokes about the school and everything. Calvin walks in and he's like, looks like he's going to head straight out. Like, oh, like join us. He's like, oh, I was actually going to eat outside, but there's nobody out there. Exactly. He gets talked into staying. And he looks at his chair, and Dave's sitting in like his chair, you know, like we mentioned Archie Bunker earlier, you know, like it's his chair.
or also the dad from Clueless. Get him a chair.
So when Dave realizes it, he like immediately pops out, and he's like, we're getting the physical comedy, right? Like he's trying to like
You can't close it.
like close the leg part and everything, and he's trying to do the physical thing to make it fun. I mean, the crowd popped. I thought it was a little extreme for like nothing really happened with the chair.
Yeah.
Do any of you have a chair?
No, but I want one.
I don't have space. I would love to have one, but I don't have the space. I have a giant sectional. It takes up the entire room.
Yeah, I have like a spot like on the couch that like I tend to sit on this part of the couch.
Same, yeah.
One of these days I'll have it. And I'll get that camo recliner chair from Bass Pro Shop.
Are you gonna hang truck nuts from it?
Your wife will not allow you to have that.
No.
Am I the only one that thought they were somehow gonna get invited to like stay in their like guest room or something? Just have them stay over
No,
because
I
they
didn't.
had no furniture.
Oh yeah, that could have been.
I
a
thought
route.
that was where it was gonna go, and it just never did.
Or like the brother, the son who moved out's room.
They're asking Dave like, "Oh, so what do you do for work?" He's like, "Oh, I'm a professional conflict mediator." What's that? Well, you know, like when two people have a problem they can't solve, they hire me to come in and help them fix it. It's like, oh, so it's like when I fix a car, but what I do is real, and what you do is some touchy-feely fairy tale type crap. Well, I wouldn't call it fairy tale. I mean, this is like one of those points where it's like, it's funny that Calvin doesn't like him, but there's a point where it's almost like, all right, now it's
Too
just,
much.
it's
Yeah.
mean. You know what I mean? It's just too mean-spirited. And I think that's something like a lot of these sitcoms, like, it could be a struggle at times to like know when to pull back a little bit or like what line comes off a little wrong. And to me personally, and it wasn't like it was a huge deal, but like to me, that line was just a little too more like, now you're just being a dick to be a dick.
Yeah.
And it's okay, but there's no part in this episode where he actually stands up for himself. It's like,
Yeah.
there's no breaking point for him, or there's no. I thought there'd be a point where the rest of Calvin's family sticks up for Dave or something, because he's been nice to them and they've all bonded, but nothing happens.
He just kind of gets punched on the whole time.
I thought this was actually going to be the point where he blew up.
Me too.
When he instead we have him hugging everybody.
I mean, instead if he went like, this is like therapy, people need to talk to people, blah, blah, blah. And like one of the sons was like, I go to therapy, Dad. Right? Like you could have worked that out, like remediation, family, therapy, whatever. You could have worked it through like to give him. And then he could have had a funny line at the end, like, I still don't believe it. And that would have been like a good joke. Instead, like the hugging thing is not a good scene, I don't think.
Well, so what they do here is it isn't even that Malcolm is defending Dave so much, or it's more like he's just getting on his dad. So Gemma goes like, oh, you know, he's really good at his job. And Calvin's like, it sounds to me like you just think you're better than everybody else. And Malcolm steps in and goes, oh, please, you're the only one here who thinks you're better than everybody. He's like, all right, I've had enough of your disrespect today. And I'm thinking, You've been nothing but disrespectful this whole episode. But if someone like granted, like you don't want your like kids disrespecting you, but like what have you done to show him how to treat other people? You've been nothing but disrespectful to someone for no reason this entire episode. He's talking about how, you're always talking to me about respect, but you never show me any. He's like, well, that's because when I get up, I go to work. And when you get up, you go pee.
That's a great line.
Question, though. I just thought of this.
I do both.
I just thought of this. They said that they own a car shop, right?
Yes.
Why doesn't he hire him?
Why doesn't he just hire him?
Maybe he doesn't know how to fix cars.
Yeah, I mean, like, you don't just hire somebody. If it was like, if there was a car shop in my family, like, Joe, you're hired, I'd be like, oh, what do I do?
And also, like, he's an able-bodied adult male. Like, it's not that
he can get some job.
Yeah, it's not that he can't get a job. It sounds like he's not actively trying to get one. Because he's arguing, he's like, you keep telling me I need to get a job, like I don't have plans. And I'll say, I don't want to agree with Calvin ever, because Calvin's not painted this way, but there is a point where you are an adult. Like, you should have some sort of a job. And I agree, like, I'm not saying work at a job you hate forever. If you have like big plans in life and there's something you really want, do what you can to achieve that goal. But you still need to make some sort of money between then. You can't be an adult and still asking your parents for like dinner money.
It's tough. They subtly try to like sprinkle in that Malcolm is very smart. It's why he's watching the evolution video earlier. It's why when you see him at the party, he's playing chess.
Right.
But like you said, he can't just be a bum. He needs to be doing something. Like, I got plans. You don't know my plans, man. Like,
when you have Calvin being hard on Dave, it's completely unjust. When he's being hard on Malcolm, he's just saying things that are true. So, like, he has a reason to be acting this way towards him. And, like, he could easily just be unjustly being hard on him like he is to his neighbor.
I think to Ferg's point, like, a better position for that character would be if he had, like, a quote-unquote, like, nothing job that gave the dad more of an argument for him because he's so smart, right? Like, you work at a convenience store all night. You're wasting your talent, your potential, right? Like, that's, like, more of a parent mad at you for... versus just being like, you don't have a job for no reason, where like it's hard to be like, why couldn't you just go work at Staples or whatever,
This becomes a more elevated argument, and the two are going back and forth. Dave gets in the middle, is like, hey, and like tries to stop it. And he's like, hey guys, maybe I can help. And it's like, Dave, don't. It's like, no, it's okay. Like, this is what I do. He's like, it seems to me like neither of you are feeling respected. And I think this is when Marty's like, wow, Dave, you really are good at your job. And he's like, Malcolm, tell your dad why you feel like he doesn't respect you. Calvin is like, he's like, I'm not doing this. This is just another white guy trying to fix a black man's problem so he can feel good about himself. They're saying, Calvin, that's not fair. Really? All right. Dave, tell me how you feel about Rihanna. And he goes, I find her very attractive. He's like, see? I feel like, yeah, the callback was funny from earlier, but like, again, Rihanna is objectively attractive, so I don't.
Is there a correct answer? If he said he didn't, would it be like, oh, what are you, racist?
Yeah, no, she's not my type. Why? What's wrong with Rihanna? Yeah.
Not my type is the exact right thing to say, right? Like, she's not my type. Like, oh, because you're a racist? Yeah, perfect. If you really want to make him a villain, be like, I took Chris Brown's side. Like, that you could really paint that character as a terrible human being.
Calvin saying that this is like affirmative action for friends, thinking that, like, again, that the intention of Dave isn't like as pure as I guess it is. And Dave's trying to defend himself. He's like, Calvin, listen, like, it's not true. Like, I want to be friends with my neighbors. And yeah, maybe I'm trying a little extra hard because I'm the only white guy around. If that makes me seem racist, then I'm sorry. Like, in fact, and he turns to Tina, he's like, hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I seem racist. And he gets like really close to Tina. And like, she's like trapped on the couch basically because he like gets really like close to her. It seemed weird. Like, I don't know why he felt he had to like reassure her the most because she seems like to be the one who has the least problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not bothered at all in this scenario.
And this is when he kind of starts going around and giving everyone in the family hugs.
Very cringy.
I don't think it's cringy. I don't think that's the right word. I think if we're looking at a show subjectively, this is what makes you want to watch the character interact with these people again, right? Because it's so fucking weird.
See, I think this was lacking. Like I said, it was lacking him truly sticking up for himself, but it was also lacking that one moment where there's that one little sense of, oh, these two could bond one day. Like this.
Yeah.
and this was their opportunity, would be him fixing him and his son's relationship, even if it was just for the night, fixing the fight. It's like, okay, but that doesn't happen. It just ends with him still hating him.
I think the other issue too, and maybe in the writing, is that like if you have this other son who is successful, he leaves. So because of that, he's just not there sometimes, right? Where like I think you need him maybe to live in the house. I would maybe put him in like the garage apartment. So he's
like Mike Seaver.
Mike Seaver, yeah, exactly. So he's there and he's more responsible or whatever, but he like is still there to be that character.
Can we put him in a van on the front lawn?
So he's doing a Cody scenario.
Anyways, there's the hugs going all around from Dave. It gets to the point where the only one left to hug is Calvin. Calvin's like, hey, if I give you a hug, will you leave my house? And that results in them hugging. I was kind of surprised because I didn't feel like that fit the character at all. Like he should have been adamantly against the hug.
A handshake, a high five, something else, something minimal.
Yeah, like he shouldn't have been so quick to like offer like this in return. But the two hug, and that's when the son Grover's like, cool, Dad, you made the jerk like you. Dave and Gemma are both like, oh shit. And now they're like rushing like to get out of the house. And she said like, thank you so much for having us. You'll have to come to our house next. And then Dave goes, yeah, it's because we want you there, not just because you're black. Dave! And like they rush out.
I do like that he like can't not trip over his own feet.
I actually like the little pin they put on this scene too, because they shut the door and now it's just, Calvin with his family. He goes, can you believe it? I mean, can you believe it? That little boy's name is Grover Johnson? Like that's of all of this, the thing he's the most hung up on.
I was just gonna say, do we know any real Grovers? I'd never met a Grover in real life. Yeah.
I had a great uncle whose name was Grover.
First name?
Yeah.
That's why I mentioned Grover Cleveland. It's the only thing that came to mind.
It's a old-timey name, right? Like it's not something you hear often anymore.
I mean, you're talking like the turn of the 19th century. Like,
well, Jim Henson begs to differ.
There's names that like have died like from when we were kids, that just aren't even used much anymore.
yeah, I feel like Esther.
Oh yeah, Edith.
Those were before our
Mildred.
generation.
Mildred. Now everyone's just like, this is my son, Griston. And you're like, okay, thank you. And I say that as somebody who named their kids something weird. I'm not being a jerk.
Just wait, there's going to be a whole bunch of Daenerys Targaryens. And
Yeah.
I saw a meme recently where it was like, in 10 years, a bunch of like Spanish kids in like LA are going to have to ask their parents why their names are Shohei Rodriguez. After Ohtani hit the 3 home runs. Yeah, I do feel like this is the era of the generation of kids coming up now. Like we joke about like, like when we were kids and you'd go to like the store and they'd have like the little license plates with names on it and magnets. Like those companies need to just shut down. Now, thank God for all the made to order online stuff, things you can get, because you just don't see any of those names ever. You know what I mean? Like Joe, your daughter's name's never going to be on that little thing,
Nope.
Spelt that way. Ferg, your son.
Grover Cleveland wasn't even his first name.
Really?
It's Stephen Grover Cleveland.
Oh. Learn something new every day.
Right?
Stephen Cleveland rhymes. Why wouldn't you go with that? That's such a good like political thing to like vote for Stephen Cleveland. That makes the most sense in the world.
I'd rather vote for Stephen Cleveland than Steamin' Cleveland.
I knew that was coming.
Take a walk, bud. Hit the showers.
Again, Joe, your daughter's name's not going to be on that little thing of license plates. Ferg, your son. Spell that way. My niece. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just not.
My wife,
And they're not wild names, you know what I mean? It's like nothing crazy, but like it's just between spellings, everything. It's just we grew up at a time when there were like a pool of like maybe 100 names tops between men and women that existed.
I mean, it's 2 Mikes, a Nick, a Jason, and a Joe, right? Like, it's like the most boring fucking white names ever we all have,
I came from a time where I felt like I mean I liked my name in that it wasn't like Jason is not a wild name, but it was like just off enough that I didn't like have 3 of them in a classroom with me at all times. Like of the 5 of us on the podcast, I have the least common name and my name is Jason. You know what I mean? Like, which is funny because I think that's the most I've said my own first name in full in years. It's just a different world. But anyways, to move forward,
What's funny is I have like the one of the most common names like you guys do as well. And one time the state of Massachusetts spelled it wrong on my documents. So now it was like I have to like search for like Joseph also.
You know what?
somebody doesn't know how to spell
Massachusetts
Joseph.
may have gotten your name wrong, but Maine got your gender wrong.
Yeah.
To be fair, that's such a weird thing. I have to like keep adding those. I was like, yeah, all right. And the man who looked very much like a friend of ours' dad yelled at me about it for like 20 minutes before I was like, I have to leave.
I spelled my son's name. I added an X to the end of his thing, so I would never have to buy him one of those fucking nameplates or anything. It really came around and bit me in the ass because now I just got to get him custom everything. So it's cost me a lot more money.
Thankfully, like the world is different with it. So much made to order, print to order stuff. So every kid could really have whatever they want now because it's like, oh, like they have those like, here's a book with your name in it. Like all that stuff is very easy to obtain.
Yep.
And stores don't exist either. So you don't see stuff anyways.
Yeah. But like Walmart or whatever, like we always walk by and we live in like a touristy area. So like they always have those up in the summer. And it's the 10 regular, but like, most common names for boys or girls. And then blank ones with like stickers. So you can just like, they figured that out. At least they're like, here's 60 letters, like work it out that way.
Next scene, it's later on in the night. Dave's walking out to his front door. Malcolm happens to be outside also. And they get to talking. You're not going to jump over here and hug me again, are you? He's like, no. He's like, hey, thanks for having my back out there with your dad. He's like, yeah, no, it's cool. But, if he kicks me out, I'm coming to move in with all you guys. And then Dave's asking him, like, do you think it was a mistake that I moved here? Like, why would it be a mistake? He's like, I don't know. He's like, maybe your dad's right. Maybe I don't fit in here. Like, I keep trying to be a good guy and, nobody seems to see me that way. Malcolm goes, yeah, well, it's hard when you see yourself one way and the rest of the world sees you another. Doesn't feel very good, does it? He's like, no, not at all. And I feel like that was a great line as far as like maybe a white person understanding like the other side, like the black perspective of it and how a lot of people like have, preconceived notions. But I feel like that wasn't a lesson that Dave needed because Dave doesn't look at people that way. You know what I mean? Like save that great line, save it for someone that's not Dave.
Yeah.
But I do like too that Dave reacts to it being like he understands more now.
Sure. I mean, there are still lessons to be learned.
Yeah, it's more lived experience versus taught experience.
Yeah. And then Dave's just basically going like, I really do think that like if people just focused on, what we have in common instead of what we are different, like it would solve a lot of problems. And Malcolm's like, yeah, that may be true, but I think it's a lot easier for someone like you to believe that than someone like me, based on kind of what he's probably gone through in life. He's like, all right, well, true. He's like, I better get to bed. So, good night. They exchange good nights. And Malcolm goes, hey, Dave. Yeah. Welcome to the neighborhood. And then Dave walks in and then, you have that nice little moment and then you turn around and now Calvin is outside of the window as Malcolm's about to head back in. He goes, oh, I have a lot of black friends.
This is the greatest way to end it because I think that's the way you have to do a sitcom like this, right? Like you have the real serious, like, hey guys, racism is bad. Like we're learning to accept each other thing. And then immediately be like, let's diffuse the seriousness with a fucking stupid joke to end it. Like, I think that's the best way of writing. And I think it pulls people in more, right? We're like, oh, it's still funny. Because it'd be weird to end this episode on like a very serious note.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, there's still a ways to go, right? Like, we didn't solve everything episode 1. We know deep down, like, we know Dave's a legit good guy. And I don't think there's any reason to think that Calvin is inherently not a good guy. You know what I mean? Even though he's been mean the whole episode. And it's funny because, again, it's just, we're seeing kind of like this story being told before, where really, at times when it was like the black family moving into the white neighborhood, Calvin saying all the same things the white guy would be saying if it was the reverse. You know what I mean? He's not saying anything. The perspective isn't that different. It's just we're flipping the lens, And now he's saying a lot of the same things you would have heard the other way, which, for better or worse, just kind of proves how the same everybody is really deep down. But yeah, I've said before, I think a unique perspective to kind of deal with an issue like this, and I think they balanced the comedy pretty well where we're tackling on serious issues, but I don't think we're getting, at least in this episode, not too deep that it was uncomfortable. Uncomfortable to try to talk about at times because I'm in constant fear of not explaining something the way it is in my head. Shows like this are tricky in that regard, you know, because you are dealing with sensitive topics and you want to be sensitive as to how you go about it. And it is, I think you have it in your head, and to articulate it quite the way you mean it in your head with certain things are so tough at times in a way that like can't be misinterpreted.
Which will also make the roundup of this episode hard to be like, I'm trying to say this without sounding fucking crazy or weird, yeah.
Yeah, Joe, before we close out and do the green light or cancel, I mean, just to wrap it up, you alluded earlier about like spin-off shows. I will say I've looked into it. Now, there is one coming out real soon, the Tracy Morgan show that I've sent you guys something about. That is a spin-off of this show. That is coming out. The one about the sons, I think, is scrapped for now. There was going to be one about the two sons.
That's a bummer because having only seen one episode, like they're so fun in this. You're
That's
like,
the show I want.
That Odd Couple show, yeah.
Yeah, like we didn't get to meet Tracy Morgan.
Yeah, I don't even know how much involvement he had in the show. You know what I mean? It could have been one of those like really minimal ones. I honestly don't know.
Like in 8 seasons, right? That's and this is a CBS sitcom, I think.
CBS, yeah.
So that's gonna be like what, 160 episodes probably, right? Like that's a lot of time because that's still a network that does like the full 22 episode orders, right? So
I think we're in the 130s for the episode count. I don't know the exact. By the time this episode comes out, I don't know where we're at, but
maybe he's Victor, and then that's when we're getting our Victor spinoff.
He's Crackhead Victor. I would love that.
Tracy Morgan was in one episode of The Neighborhood.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it could have even just been a backdoor pilot or something, or who knows. Anyways, with all that being said, green light or canceled. Nick's not here. We will find out what his grade or score is. It will be involved in a future post that you'll find on our social media, S1E1pod.com. To go in a circle-ish, Joe, I'll start with you.
I really enjoyed this. I also think, too, like, even if you don't like a show for what we do, right? Like, 8 seasons so far, like, obviously something clicks here. I think the majority of the way this show works is with Cedric's family versus the other family. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes, because obviously they have to find a way in to make them all, you know, be part of the whole thing together, and like what their daily lives are like now that they're neighbors. I really love to at the end that they give you all these jokes and they're like, hey, like this is racism and this is how we live our lives, and then a joke. I think that's how you need to make a show like this work, to maybe educate people who don't think of it that way, because you disarm them a little bit, which I think makes the writing really smart. Cedric and Entertainer is so funny. I really enjoyed this. It's a green light.
Work.
Yeah, this show, like I said, I picked it. I've seen a lot of reels from it. It does appear to get a little sillier down the line. From this pilot, I feel like it was lacking something, but not enough for me to cancel. So it does inevitably get the green light from me. I love the cast. Absolutely love the full cast. And this just had like vibes from like older sitcoms that we grew up with. Like we said, All in the Family, The Jeffersons. It's just like, it broke away from the formula with like I said, it was missing that bonding moment, which I respect them for trying something different, but I would have liked, you know, Dave to get a little bit of like a nice moment at some point, because he got shit on the entire episode. But yeah, that's my only issue. I loved it from front to back, like every part. I think it's great chemistry, and I love the Sons. I'm really bummed that spinoff got canceled. So yeah, green light from me.
Gordo.
Yeah, I'm not going to do anything too different here. Green light for me. It was a good show. I thought that, Ferg, you touched on something that, like, you said it was reminiscent of older sitcoms. Wasn't that how this was billed, if I remember correctly? And maybe I should have brought this up at the beginning of the episode, but this just jogged my memory. I could have sworn that that's how this sitcom was billed, but either way, it was great. Everybody was hilarious in it, and like, yeah, the whatever, he could have been a little less corny, but like it works. So green light.
Yeah, so I'm not going any different than the rest of you guys. It's a green light for me as well. Berg, I agree with you too in that something felt a little missing. I think you don't need Calvin to completely come around and just start liking Dave already. But like just a something in common that kind of makes him go, or just him noticing him say or do something that just like, if you just like had him overhear something where like you just caught him kind of like think a minute, like anything, but like he gave him nothing the entire episode and not even any self moments of realization. Like he ended this episode the exact same way he came in. And I think there was just a little bit of an opportunity to like do something there. Which we didn't get. But overall, again, yeah, like it's been said, good chemistry with the cast. This episode, pretty simple in nature. Not a lot happened. They move in, they go to the barbecue, they talk to them a little bit. Not a lot happens. Just kind of good character building. That's all it was really based on. And yeah, it was good enough for me.
You know what would have worked for that bonding moment? You know how he says that he likes beer. He brings over him an IPA. He doesn't want it, blah, blah, blah. When he leaves at the end, he tries it and likes it. Something as simple as that.
Yeah, that's so easy. And be like, not bad. Right, like just walk away. Or he goes, this isn't beer. This tastes like pins and needles on my tongue.
Any little like bonding moment, I think, would have been good. But with that being said, congratulations to the neighborhood. You got 4 out of 4 so far. So regardless of Nick's score, you're getting the green light anyways. I want to thank all you guys for listening. Again, S1E1pod.com is where you can find all the links to where you can listen to us. Rate, review, subscribe. I can't stress that enough. Like, it's, I get it. People don't do it very often with shows anymore, but it does help us a lot and it helps us get our name out there. If you can do that stuff, or just, tell your friends, spread the word. I don't know, whatever you're going to do. We'll mail you some stickers, hang them up somewhere. But yeah, spread the word.
By the time you hear this, our ALS t-shirt will be out.
Sure. But with all that being said, I want to thank you guys again one more time, and we'll catch you next week with another new episode. Until then, thank you. Goodbye.
Maybe you got the best celebration in Florida, police.